You know, Ginny, I was thinking the other day about how long you and I have been doing political things together. I can't believe that it's better than a quarter of a century. And yet, each of us came to being involved in democratic politics from different places. You got started in a much different way than I did. You know, mine was because I was interested in writing political speeches way back when for candidates. And in fact, that's how you and I got to know each other. Because I volunteered.
Right.
You remember which campaign it was?
I do.
2 campaigns really, but the first place that I showed up was for an event in the Charles. Well, no, before the House of Delegates campaign, but at the same time, it was a Charles Rob event when Rob was running for governor in Virginia.
Right. That's right.
And I was interested in doing issues and so on and so forth. But you came in a very different way than I did.
Well,
earlier.
Yeah, I came in earlier because I found people that I could help get elected to office because they believed in the same things I believed and they wanted to help the same people I wanted to help. I didn't have any ideas of ever running for office myself, but I thought this is something I could do. I can promote these people. So many politicians cannot promote themselves. It's just ironic when you say, you know, you really got to toot your own horn, but if you can't, there are those of us out there who can. So.
But it's more than that in terms of, and I guess one of the things that I learned early, and I learned it in that crazy House of Delegates campaign that you and I then got involved in at the same in the same time frame. Is that candidates have to be able to communicate with people that they can connect with where they are and what their concerns are. Mm-hmm. And yet, over the years, I've sort of taken the background in stuff and ended up being supportive of you in terms of your activity because you've been so heavily involved in the local Democratic Committee and gone through all the chairs, so to speak, including chair of the county committee. And
But you see, if somebody doesn't do that, then the candidates don't have the tools to get elected. Somebody has to give them the support they need in order for them to get their message out, in order for them to project themselves. People are so bashful when it comes to being able to tell people, you know, why they should vote for them.
And I think maybe that's a way in which our experience has taken a turn because initially you and I met in a political campaign and we were working for a candidate. Our activity was supportive of a candidate's campaign, but in subsequent years it's been less being supportive of a candidate's campaign and much more in terms of developing the party structure and developing the resources of the party. And it makes me wonder how doing the party work, let me say it another way, I think a lot of people don't realize what party work is and why it's so important.
Well, if you don't have good parties, you're not going to get good candidates. If the candidates understand that there's somebody there, that there's an organization there, that they don't have to keep reinventing the wheel all the time, we maybe will get some people who don't have $1 million in the bank and can't self-fund their own campaign. We may get people like that to step forward and run for election, which is what we really need. There are so many people out there that could make great candidates and make great elected officials, but they don't tip their hand, they don't put their toe in the water because they think, you know, it's going to take their entire life savings in order to accomplish this. But if you have a strong Democratic committee and a strong, you know, precinct operations, they might think twice, and we might get some much better candidates if we have a strong organization.
Is precinct operations an organization what often gets referred to today as the ground game?
You got it. It's boots on the ground.
Do you think that that still holds as strongly as it once did in the face of the super PACs and the hidden millions of dollars that come into campaigns? I mean,
Absolutely, absolutely, because I know from firsthand experience people whose door you knock on and you meet face to face and you tell them about your candidate makes a much bigger impression than some slick advertising on TV or something they get in the mail. The personal touch, you know, Tip O'Neill, all politics is local, and knocking on those doors and telling people about this person who's running for office is far more effective. There are statistics even that say 1 in 14 doors you can convert, whereas it may take you 300 to 500 telephone calls to make any dent in people, and then you have to keep calling them over and over and over.
so is that why you've got me walking through the neighborhoods and handing out literature and doing all that stuff?
Of course. Because it's the personal touch. If you're a neighbor of mine and you come to my door and you ask me to vote for your friend so-and-so that's running for office, I'm going to believe you more than 10 pieces of literature I get in the mail.
But that's even true with national candidates as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If I have a neighbor and they don't know who they're going to vote for in November because they haven't been following the presidential, how anybody could not follow the presidential, I don't know. But if I know them and I go to their door and I tell them what President Obama has done for this country, and we have to continue this forward progress for everybody, not just a few, I'll get far better results than if I just call them on the phone or send them a piece of mail.
So the ground game is everything.
The ground game is absolutely everything.
That's how I got my political education, because you took me out to the neighborhoods. Amazing.